So this video is not for these pads. This video is for the PGS XT1 set that I demoed way back when. I wore these in the summer, and I'm just getting around to editing the footage of it now and putting the review out of it now. And this is just a shinny game that I played, and it has Netcam, so it has a good idea of kind of how you can see the sit on the ice, as well as how they fit myself. I would have liked to actually play a real game with these, but in the summer I just don't have that opportunity. We're kind of stuck with what we got here. But this will do a very good job of showing off some of the things I'll be talking about in the review of the pads, which will be coming out in a little bit. A lot of that is to do with kind of the stability as well, and this piece. So obviously this is the calf wing. This one is a pretty solid piece. That one, not as solid as this one is at all. And you can see when I am in the butterfly, you can see how kind of it tilts off the ice. So watch out for that a lot. You can also see how much torsional flex is in these pads. So when I really go into like the RVH, this piece comes off, but you can also see the white under the boot because of the whole pad is kind of flexing and kind of going out there with that. Now this is a personal preference thing, so people are going to want that or people are not going to want that. I'm going to spoil a bit of the review here, but I found that these pads were not very stable in the butterfly and when moving around, and it was part of the knee block. It was also part of this piece here that is not on the ice all that much. When I wear these pads, and I've had Netcam footage of these pads, this piece does come off the ice as well. But everything here is so stable and like solid. This is kind of just like an added bonus that you don't really need all that much of to be stable. Where this piece is just like so good at keeping the pad where it is, and the whole like stiffness of the core and everything make this pad extremely stable while still like flexing a little bit. This was kind of like an extreme of that flex. So again, personal preference, you can kind of see how it is. The other thing about these pads, you can kind of notice a little bit is for sizing. They're definitely too short in the thigh. And I had to strap these so they were kind of pulling up my leg a bit too. I am going to the knee block here because I found I would just fall out the top of the block all the time. But they have that inner strap. So I did up that inner strap where normally I wouldn't like to do that. And that kept like the pad pulled up a bit on my skate. You can see how it sits on the skate too. It's not coming off like crazy where it just totally floats, but it is kind of sitting a lot tighter than I would want. And these pads, I can't remember the sizing on them, but I would have basically ordered them bigger if I bought them myself, and I would have ordered them bigger on the knee as well as on the thigh rise. The knee part worked for this because I had to keep my pads so tight, but normally I wouldn't want to keep them that tight. So they were kind of coming up my leg a bit in terms of that inner strap, and that's how it kind of stayed there. So that strap did its job, but it's not my preference of a pad, but it's a demo pad, so it doesn't really matter. The other thing you'll notice on here is a little bit of post integration. Unfortunately, the camera didn't get the widest angle possible to get both of the bottom of the post, so you can't really see the toe kind of hitting the post all that much. But in order for me to kind of get into the post really well, I had to be very like self-conscious about it, and I had to think about it a lot just because of the boot angle and how short the boot really felt. I had to basically kick my toe out, so when I'd slide into the post, I would end up kicking my toe like this to create a bigger gap between here and my skate, and that way I would slide into the post and I would get that seal on the toe. Honestly, I don't think that's necessarily the best thing, but again, this is a personal preference thing, so people are going to find what they like more or less. But with pads like this pad and my Vons, I can, and actually my Warriors too, I can slide into the post without having to think about it, and it basically seals like here, and it will seal underneath. And this like wasn't the case with this one, and I had to like mentally do something and think about my actual foot movements when doing that. And that is, again, you can get used to it and it would be totally fine, but it's not something I prefer. So not the best, I think, in that regards. Like I mentioned, full review of the pads coming soon. Check out the blocker review, which is already out. I go into a lot of detail on that blocker review, and I think it's a pretty solid indication of the skier. So definitely take a look at that one as well, because if you're looking for the whole like the stuff, you're going to want to see the whole set, right? So check that one out already, and then the glove will come after the pads come as well. Core Tech, which are core shorts, and people have heard of these before. They were labeled under Under Armour before. Now Bauer sells hockey specific one, but Core themselves sell their own line of pants and supportive clothing and apparel. Basically, this stuff helps you with growing strains, growing pulls, and helps keep your hips tight and everything like that. And speaking of injuries, I kind of pulled a growing playing in the playoffs a few months ago and have had to keep using these Core Tech shorts
to make sure my growing doesn't get worse. When I don't wear them, I can feel it and it hurts kind of to walk the next day. With these, keeps everything nice and tight and keeps everything from stretching out too far and getting injured. So these have been a huge savior for me. Check out the link in the description to their website and use my coupon code that's in there to get a discount, and I'll put it on the screen here. It helps support myself and the channel so I can make content and doing real reviews, but also you get a solid product that I use all the time and basically am needed in order to keep my growing from falling apart. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel without buying anything, check out the links in the description to Patreon and buy me a coffee. Everything through those links always comes back into the channel so I can keep making more content and doing more reviews.
Y'all ready for this?
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.